So what's the purpose of your visit in Stavanger and ONS?
Well, we have a company called Blue Planet Solutions, and we've developed an oil water separation, something that works at a very high rate of speed that we know is a gigantic difference maker in when oil spills occur, and not only as a machine itself, but in some of the other equipment that is put onto oil spills, it makes their equipment even more efficient. So we were very flattered to be asked to come, and it's something that it's of a large interest to us. It's a global problem, and we feel like we're a global solution to it. So that's why we're here in Norway.
Are you hoping to get contracts with Norwegian companies?
I hope I hope that happens. But I think in anything, you meet, you talk, you understand what people's needs are, you understand what their concerns are, and when people actually become aware of how really what a good technology this is, how well engineered, the science behind it, and its actual function, that I believe that we'll be not only making contracts here in Norway, but around the world. It's our hope. Okay. And maybe we'll even have some strategic partners come out of Norway, because they're an industry leader in a lot of ways.
So can you, in not so many words, explain how this device works and why it is so important?
You want me to say it shorter?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a centrifuge, which is, for people who don't understand science like me, it's something that spins very quickly, and it shoots water out one side and oil out the other. And why centrifuges have been around, it's important to say this, centrifuges have been around for 50, 60 years. But this was developed specifically for this application. So the machine is very strong, and it separates oil and water at very high purity. So 99.9% oil goes out one side, 99.9% water goes out the other. And actually, we've developed a machine so that it's now down to parts per million, and in some instances it's undetectable. So it's a very environmentally friendly machine for a very kind of big problem, and you don't often find that.
And it's been used now in the Gulf of Mexico.
It has been, yes.
In what way, and is it successful?
It was successful. We were asked to come to the fight very late, and every time an oil spill happens, it's not the same. Water temperature, there's a million things that change, and sometimes the oil can be as thick as peanut butter, and sometimes it's as thin as it's almost what it is. And what happened is our machine was asked to do all of those things. Usually something is designed specifically for one thing, and our machine has the versatility and the engineering that allows it to work under a lot of different conditions. And through engineering and through our guys working 18 hours a day, we were able to separate everything that was going on in the Gulf. And so the machine was highly, highly successful.
Do you have numbers, or?
Well, we have data, and you said, short answers, and I don't want to go into data. I think, what's important to know is that that it works at a very high speed, 200 gallons a minute, and the data, the orders speak louder than the data could. BP went ahead and ordered 32 of these machines, and I think now they're looking at the plan that we've offered for the defense of the Gulf, and I think they're refining it, and I think the desire for them to support it is very, very strong.
In what way do you think that Norwegian companies can use this in our waters?
Well, I think that Norway has led the fight in oil spill, and so what that says right there is that they've always been willing to then go with what's the next best thing. They're always looking to improve, and if that culture stays the same, I believe that that we are that type of technology, that I think that whatever Norway's already doing well, that we might be able to actually improve on that with them. And so, this isn't a competition. This is a fight for all of us. Okay, there's no winners here except our ability and the industry's ability to think ahead and be prepared.
But is it nice to have or need to have equipment?
Say again?
Is it a nice to have equipment or need to have? Is it something that we really need to have?
No,
or
yeah. No, it's an absolute need, and we don't have enough. I don't even believe you have enough in Norway. I think that when it happens, it's horrific, and I think that that when you plan for something to go wrong, you have to plan for the worst to go wrong, and so with that in mind, I think that's how oil response plans need to be thought of around the world, not just here in Norway, but around the world. They have to be prepared for the worst situation to happen.
So in Norway, we have a discussion about whether we should test drill up in the north, where we have the most beautiful nature,
yes,
and the fishing industry
yes,
that has been living there for
right,
years and years. Do you have any opinions on that? Should Norway do that?
Well, I commercial fished. I used to be a salmon fisherman. I was a deckhand and a cook, and so you know, my love of the ocean isn't greater than anyone else's, but it's pretty great. So the debate about whether to drill or not is not one that I could speak to. It's not where I live. But if they are going to drill, they shouldn't be allowed to drill unless this kind of safety equipment is number one, there on the spot, and is prepared for the worst case scenario that could happen. Because we don't need, the oil cannot trump the livelihood that people have had there for hundreds and thousands of years. So there is a way to act responsibly, and if the industry shows that it can be responsible, then the people will decide if they should be able. But we can be part of we'll have to be part of the plan if drilling happens up there, because of how efficient our machine is, because how environmentally friendly it is. So the debate is one that would be wrong for me to even enter into.
So how did this start?
It started for me because I, like everyone watching television over the years, would see oil spills, and I would see that the response was the same, and I didn't really think about it. But then 3 or 4 years later, I'd see one, and the response was still the same. And what do I mean by response? I kind of mean there wasn't a response. It was usually people on the beach with hay. That seemed to be consistent with every spill that I ever saw, that it was coming on the shore, and the only people that were really stopping it were the people who had nothing to do with the spill in the first place. And it looked...
and that was the Exxon Valdez accident?
Exxon Valdez probably was the one that really got me to thinking the most, and then at that point I began to look at technologies and got with a bunch of scientists and engineers and said, why can't we stop this? I mean, we're able to go to the moon, we're able to do many things. Why can't we clean up an oil spill, especially of our own making?
Would you say you're a businessman or an idealist?
Well, I'm a dreamer, and I'm a businessman, and I'm a father, and I'm an actor, and I'm a adventurer, and my life is a lot of things. Inside all of them, I try to be practical. It doesn't mean I try to limit my dreams, but I try to understand that my dreams, the things that I dream could happen in the world, I always know that a lot of work will associate them. It's one thing to want to clean up a spill, it's another thing to go out and try and do it. And I've aligned myself with people who are all about action. You know, we're not activists, we're a solution-oriented company. If there's a problem, we want to be about fixing it, and that's where my interest has always lied.
What does it mean for the company that you are so famous and that you are a film star? What does that mean for the business?
I don't know. It didn't mean a lot when the machine was first introduced to industry and the government. They didn't have to use it, so they didn't. You know, all the celebrity in the world can't make an industry stand up and listen. Can't make a government see that these problems are going to continue. I don't choose to use my celebrity as a microphone. I don't. Even though people have seen me talk about this issue, this is the longest I've ever talked about oil on this particular day. I've only done 1 or 2 interviews in the United States. So I choose to be about solutions and not about publicity, but I do stand up for this machine because I think the machine stands up for the environment. I think it stands up for countries, it stands up for people, it stands up for individuals who will benefit from it. So that's a fight worth having, and I'm willing to have it.
So in Waterworld, the polar ice had melted.
Yeah.
We saw that in your film, and that was back in '95, and there was not so much talk about the climate then as it is now.
Right.
Were you concerned about that? Since
I don't understand climate change, to be quite honest. I just listen to everybody else. But as you know, the boat that goes down in Waterworld is called the Exxon Valdez. So I know that we are the only thing on Earth that can injure the Earth. You know, our capabilities are so profound, and our appetite is so large that we can injure the planet, and we can maybe alter it in a way that's difficult to come back from. And we're going to be judged for this. We're going to be judged the same way we judged the last century. And the difference of where this century is concerned is we already know better. And so what we do about the things that we already know are wrong will mark how we're going to be framed in history.
So what about, how will we see Kevin Costner in the next few years? Is it the actor, the director, the businessman? And what do you prefer doing yourself?
I really love playing music. I like to come and play music in Europe, and I'd like to direct some more movies. I want to travel the world with my children, and I like working hard with my friends. So
there's a movie coming in Norway now in November, The Company Man. Can you say a few words about that?
I only have a very small part in that,
okay.
Not very large, and I enjoyed what the movie was about, and so I wanted to be a part of it. I'd been offered a larger role in the movie, and I didn't want it. I saw a smaller role, and I said that interests me.
So, will you see anything of Norway now when you're here?
I won't see as much as I want. I have to write a speech tonight for a speech I'm going to give tomorrow. I'm a little, I worry about those type of things because this is an important moment for not only for myself but for my friends who've chosen to form this company with me, and I want to try to say and influence as many people as I can about what we're doing, and so it's important to me what happens tomorrow.
Is this more important to you now than your film career? Would you say that?
And it's not more important, but I try to treat the things I do in life importantly. I just, and I try to decide what's really serious and what isn't. I take my music seriously, but I know it's not serious. I take it seriously, though. I try, and there's a lot of people that have joined me in this fight, and so I don't come at it casually. I don't do things casually.
And one more question about the equipment that I forgot. The weather in our waters, it's harsh, and the climate is harsh. Is this equipment usable in our conditions?
Yes, it is. It was designed to work in harsh conditions, because you don't design something to work in the most beautiful situations. You design something to work when it's the worst, and that's what I'm very proud of the machine.
And why is it important to separate the oil when you're out on the sea and not on shore?
So that you can stay out there working, so that the boats out there that are collecting water and oil can actually come back with a full tank of oil, as opposed to half oil, half water, or 95%. Why 95%? Why not come back with 100%? Everything that we do is about being efficient, and so that's why you do it. And it's more efficient to stay out there and fill up large barges than it is to go back and forth.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet you.